You are listening to Psy-Nation Radio with your hosts Liquid Soul and Ace Ventura.
So I'm privileged to be in the presence of a true legend, Mr. Ajja. Hello there.
Hi, Yoni. It's very nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure. We've just listened to one of the tracks from your new album called Shamanic Tea Remix, a remix to Trip Switch. And that's one of the reasons why we are talking right now, to celebrate this release. I think it's been a while since your last album, which was actually more of a down-tempo album. So please talk about your new release. We're very excited about it.
I'm super excited about it myself. I hope people like it. My last dance floor Psytrance album was Tulpa. That was 2012. So I take a long time between albums. I like to test tracks out on the dance floor and make sure they work before releasing them. So yeah, this is it's a conglomeration of new tracks and tracks that have been around for quite a while that I've been tinkering on. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but I tend to work on tracks for a very long time. It takes me a while to be satisfied with them. So yeah, but these are new versions of those tracks. Well, the latest versions, I suppose. And it's really nice to be getting back to something more psychedelic dance floor compared to the last album, which, like you say, was mid-tempo, and the Junju stuff, which is different, and the live streams I've been doing recently. But also I'm happy about this album because we're launching a new label with it at the same time.
Yes, Superfluid. Yeah.
Superfluid sound, yeah. That's something that's been coming for quite a while. This is a label that's mainly for my music and music that I make with friends, collaborations like this. It's a place where people can find what I'm doing all in one spot. It's going to be in Beatport, iTunes, everywhere. It's all the usual places, you know. So that's an exciting thing for us because we've been running Peak Records for almost 20 years now. But as you know, it's gone dormant in the last few years for lots of reasons, basically. But it sort of made sense to evolve into something new that is just a new version of the thing, and that's a lot cleaner. So we're not really going to be making compilations, we're not going to be having label DJs or this sort of thing like that. It's mainly somewhere where people can find music, because I get asked a lot where people can get it. So now there's a place, so I'm excited about it. So yeah, this album, it's called Oddular. It's been a very long journey. You know what it's like when you bring an album out. You have the initial impulse, everything's great, you have the excitement, then you go, oh my god, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. Then you start tinkering on it and working on it, and by the end of it, you're sick of it, you don't want to hear it anymore. If you hear it one more time, you're going to throw up, sort of thing. But I've got enough objectivity over it now that I'm very proud of this as an album. I think people are going to enjoy it on the dance floor. I think people are going to enjoy it to listen to at home, in cars. It's also been a weird one doing it with this pandemic virus stuff. I haven't been able to test my final mixes, if you know what I mean, in big festivals and stuff. So for me, that's been quite unsettling because you know, and also I've moved house at the same time, so I changed all my listening setup and everything. So it's been quite funny. I've had to go back to testing stuff in the car, going to test it on different sound systems.
It's a good testing place, actually.
The car is great, actually, and actually one of the best places to test things is on phones, on laptop speakers, and on those Bose sound systems, you know, the ones that you used to plug iPods into, because if you drive them too hard, they start compressing. So you know when your mix is off, and you know when you've got too much bass, and when things are wrong. But I have to say one thing, you know, I'm a big fan of these PSI speakers. I've had them for ages, well, a couple of years now. Even in my untreated room, I've been able to work with these things because I just really like them. Obviously, if I turn them up too loud, then everything starts bouncing around and it sounds wrong, you know. But if I keep the volume at a reasonable level and I stay inside the speaker field, I can still work. It's like having a very big set of headphones on. So I'm excited about this. It's a difficult one because Tulpa is such a big album for me, and people really connected with it so much. And to finish Tulpa, I had to do a 30-hour non-stop session just to finish everything in one go, because otherwise I kept learning techniques and applying it to one track, and then the other track didn't stand up to it, so I'd change that track, then I'd learn a new technique, and I kept chasing my tail in circles like that for years. So for that one I had to stay in my studio for 3 days. For this one I've kind of had a similar journey because of the mastering. I tried a few mastering tests and I wasn't happy with it. They were all very, very good. But they weren't exactly what I wanted because, as you know, a mastering guy or girl, they bring their own flavor to the work. Mm-hmm. So you have to find somebody who really agrees with what you want. And we've talked about this before. I'm a little bit of an odd bird when it comes to kick and bass sounds and to general balance of everything. I don't quite fit with everybody else, so I was having a real hard time with the mastering, so I ended up doing it myself, which took me a few extra months of tinkering and learning stuff and really getting into the physics of things and why things are good and why they're not, and applying all these things. And that's been an amazing discovery for me. It's been a jump up from being a producer and a musician to actually being someone that takes a step back from the music and just looks at it as objectively as possible and tries to make it work across a lot of sound systems. So I'm really nervous about this album because you can hear the little tremble in my voice there, sort of thing, because if this doesn't work, then I've got no one else to blame but myself. You know what I mean?
No, I think it sounds good. It sounds good. And now on top of all your titles, like designer, tattoo artist, painter, bass guitar and guitar player, and trance producer, now you're also the mastering technician on top of all of it.
Well, I figure if I've got these nice speakers and I've got this decades of experience doing this thing, a lot of mastering is you have the physics of it and then you have the taste of the person comes into it. You have to make creative decisions in the mastering stage as well. There's no two ways about it. So that's the reason that drove me to it, and I got a lot of help. I got to give kudos to Bart Stryker. He really helped me a lot. He actually told me some stuff and things that I would recommend getting mastering done by him.
Yeah, he's great for sure.
He's really good and he knows his stuff and he's got a lot of good info. So he was really nice enough to actually share knowledge with me, because he saw that I was stubborn, and he told me that that's how he got into it himself, is that he was trying to master his album. I think it was in 2004, and although everybody was doing great work, it wasn't what he wanted. So the only way to do it was to do it himself. And he saw that I was going down the same path, and we're both kind of geeky, so we get along. A big thanks to Bart for that. He's helped a lot, and obviously I use him as second ears to say, did I fuck up? Is this good? You know what I mean? Sort of thing. And I've been using Tristan, I've been using everybody, you know, and Dixter and Gustavo and as many different people as I can. So that's my new passion now is balancing sound. I don't think I'm going to get into it commercially, although if there's people that are in a similar style to me, why not? I need to sort my situation out a bit more, but just on a side note, you probably saw I posted about it the other day. I got these Ava things from PSI that are really, really nice actually. I don't know if you ever heard them. They take the rumble out, even in an untreated room. It's been. I wish I would have had them while I was mastering the album. That's all I can say. I've got two of them, and they really clean up the bass between like about 15 and 150 hertz, and they make everything tight. And what I'm liking is that you can flick them on, off and on. So imagine being able to take all your bass traps out of your room by snapping your fingers and hearing the rumble, and then putting them back in instantly. you really get a sense of what they're doing. And each one of these things, it's like having a bass trap 25 times the size, right? So you save a lot of space, and you can move them around. So yeah.
So you have 4 of them, or what?
I've got 2 of them in the diagonals of the corners, sort of thing. Because in my old room, where I was for the last 10 years, because we moved recently, I had very thin wood walls. So when Roger, the owner of the company, came to visit, we're friends, and in the old place, he said I didn't need them because the subs were going straight through the walls. They were just going out and bothering the neighbors, you know. So, whereas here in this place, in the new place, I've got concrete walls. So it's resonating and everything's bouncing around, and you get standing waves and the usual stuff that you have to deal with. So here he was nice enough to bring him around for me to test him out, and yeah, I'm kind of cursing him for bringing him around because I'm gonna have to keep him now, you know. So I'm like, damn, you know. But yeah, 2 seems to be enough for this room, because they work on all axis, you know, X, Y, and Z. If you put them in the 2 diagonals, you're pretty good actually. You catch all the standing waves, you know. So yeah. So why was I saying that? Is that slowly I'm sorting out my studio, and once I'm happy with it in a way where I'll be able to give consistent results to people, then yeah, sure, why not do mastering? Because I that's one thing I realized after all these years, is that I know what I like, and that's half the battle. It's the same thing with you. It's something Billy Cosmosis used to tell me when we were working together, is that one of the worst things you can do is give yourself too many options, because then you never finish anything. You never get anywhere. You just sort of procrastinate and change things from left to right and up and down. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. It's better to make a strong decision and say, I like this there, I like this there, you know, and make something that you like, and then hopefully, if you have good taste, then other people will like it as well.
It's very interesting. So back to your album, yes. Before we forget. So there's no down tempo tracks, as we said. It's like, I see it's 144 to 148 BPM, all full power tracks, more or less.
Yep.
And with this remix that we just played, which I think I heard in your Boom set, if I'm not wrong.
Actually, the remix is from 2015. I started making it. It's a remix of an old Trip Switch track, a chill out track. Well, chill out, the original's around 130 BPM. That was done in 97, somewhere around there, I think. I could be wrong about that, but it's either 97 or 2001, 2, somewhere around there, in the old Dragonfly studios. And I absolutely love this track. I recommend everybody to go and check it out. The original's called Shamanic Tea, obviously. And it's such a beautiful track, and I've played it in chill out sets with Tanya and DJ sets and everything. And one time I was talking to Nick, and I was like, "Can I please remix it? It's the only track I've ever asked to remix." And he was like, "Sure, of course, man." You know, but he had no idea what I was going to do with it, and I managed to bump it up to 148 from 130. And somehow it worked. I never thought it would. But it's weird. I was trying to bump it up slowly. I thought I was going to end up at 140, 142. But it didn't work at all. It didn't work. So I kept bumping up the BPMs. And when I hit 148, suddenly it all gelled together. And it became what it is now, which is a very particular remix. It's almost like a completely different track from the other one. Yet somehow it still has, mainly because of the vocal samples in it. Yeah. The vocal is from the original, and some of the synths are from the original, the kind of more melodic-y ones, and the slow hi-hats that are kind of like half-time, that's from the original. Everything else that's recognizably me is obviously me, sort of thing. And I gotta say, it's one of those tracks, it was done in about 6 hours, the whole track. But I've been leaving it there for 5 years. People have been begging me to release it. I mean, seriously, you wouldn't believe. I get so many messages and comments, and it's actually unreal because of this vocal thing. And I've been using it to end sets or start sets. People have identified with it a lot, and it's got a particular meditative quality to it that puts people into a particular headspace right away. So people have been really asking me to release it, and I've been resisting because I wanted to finish the mix. And what happened here is that I made the rest of the album, and then I thought, okay, this should come out with it. And I tried to update the mix, and I was unable to. I got to it, and everything I touched in it just destroyed the whole thing. So it's one of those things where it's kind of semi-magical for me. It was something nice happened in the original track when it was made. Something nice happened when I made the remix. And my job now has been just not to mess it up too much. I tried, man. If you look at the kick and bass in this track, you'd be shocked. It's so wobbly. It goes against everything that we're taught about phase coherence and all this sort of stuff. And, you know, it's wrong, but it works. And when I tried to make it better and to make it sound big and fat and with all the knowledge I've learned in the last few years of everybody, it completely destroyed the track. So I thought, oh well, you know, better to stick with what people liked and what I liked. And I did a slight bit of mastering on it just to make it a bit more like the other tracks in volume and stuff like that, and left it at that. So I think people are going to be happy with it, that it finally comes out. And I hope it gives people a lot of pleasure to be able to play it themselves, you know.
Yeah, whenever that will happen.
Well, I mean, for the moment it's cars and stuff, and now things are slowly opening up see, personally, I haven't felt the need to do the home parties, and I have a real hard time like that, doing that sort of thing myself. I found something interesting is people have started doing the live streaming into clubs. So if you have a visual feedback from the club, then I can kind of see that as working. You see what I mean? Because then you get some sort of idea of what's going on. Gustavo, Burning Noise, and Altruism, they just did one recently to Ajja. That I can kind of see the point of it. For me personally, I have big respect for the people that are able to do the live streams by themselves, because I know it's giving something nice to everybody in the world. I've been unable to do it so far because I need people for feedback.
I completely agree with you, and I've been the same, more or less.
Yeah.
I hardly did any live sets, and yes, we need this connection. It's very hard to do it in front of a camera.
It's difficult,
with nothing behind.
Yeah. Well, part of our job, that's the way I see it, is our job is not just selecting music. Our job is working with energy, and it's working with the energy of a dance floor, and it's actually trying to connect with people. I mean, you know yourself, that's the best sets I've had is when I'm actually really concentrated on my work, but able to sort of connect with every single person in the room or festival pretty much at the same time, and see everybody out of my peripheral vision, and my perception changes. I become less focused on what I'm doing, and I get into an altered state of consciousness just by the actual work that I'm doing at the time, and the connection with the people in the room, and the vibrations that are going around. And that's what people like in what I do. I'm convinced of that. I don't think it's the actual particular track I put on or the track that I make. I'm sure people like it and enjoy it, but why people really seem to enjoy my live sets and yours and everybody else's, the people that really like doing this, not just as a selection job, but as an interactive job. I'm convinced it's that. It's our presence here, and the interaction with the people. So I'm hoping that we get back to that quickly. You know, that's we just gotta wait. You know, that's the main thing. This thing is here to stay. It's part of life, but life evolves, and human beings are amazingly intelligent creatures that have lots of ingenuity and find ways to do things, you know. So it's just a matter of time, you know. That's what I say. Hang tight, everybody. We're getting there, you know.
I completely agree. It's just a matter of time, not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. Slowly coming back in certain territories, but we still, where we live at least, we need to have more patience in this part of the hemisphere, which is Europe. But slowly it's gonna come. But in the meantime, it's very nice that some producers like you and Burning Noise and other artists are still releasing full-length albums. It is not something to take for granted, because most of the artists are waiting, rightfully so, for the parties, because they want to share this energy, like you just said. But I think it's amazing content to have a full-length album, especially for an artist like you, which people waited a long time for it. So we really thank you for doing that, and we urge everyone to check it out. It's already out by the time that the show goes on air. Superfluid Sounds is the label.
Superfluid Sound, yeah. Well, you can find it on Beatport, you can find it on iTunes, on pretty much everywhere, sort of thing. Or go to my website, and then there's links there, ajjalu.com. It's I agree with you. I think people bringing out albums is a good thing at the moment. There's no need to stop making music just because we can't party. That's the message I wanted to give to people. It's a good thing. Music is something that we do because we love it, and it makes us feel good, and it gives us a connection to each other even though we're not physically in the same space. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been listening to music, and we've all got it. We've got those tracks that we love, that we've listened to for years and years and years, and every time we hear that track, it connects us again to the energy of the person that made it, the energy of the places where we heard it. It's an accumulation of memories that goes with sound. So make more of it. People, don't stop. Keep making music.
I think that's a great place to sum everything up. Thank you so much. You got some amazing messages here in this conversation, and the album is fantastic. Again, highly recommended. And thanks for joining us, Ajja.
Hey, thank you both. It's been nice talking to you, and keep up the good work. I'm loving your shows, and it's been a great pleasure. Thanks.
We are Psy-Nation. Turn on, tune in, and drop out.